Is there supposed to be Flying Mora? Is that supposed to happen? Yeah, it's probably from the slimes, you're right. 20 primos, 20 primos. Yes! Yes! Woohoo! I love money! We need a dedicated guide to play Sucrose Taser. Here's the thing about Sucrose Taser. You don't need a guide. It's like the most fucking brain-dead team to play in the game. Just cast your abilities and mash your mouse one button. Okay, I'll try, because like, it is a little bit more than that. I'll make you a live guide right now. How to play Sucrose Taser, okay? Singto and Noblesse, always start your rotations with his burst. Okay, that's number one. Number two. You can put him on kind of anything. I like Sac because sometimes I forget to use my E. And with Sac, I still have enough ER, even if I forget to use my E, because the next rotation I can just double E and I'll be fine. But if you're not someone who's a fucking dumbass and prone to forgetting to use abilities, you can use anything, really. Beto! Build her damage. She don't need ER, okay? I run 120 ER Beto and it's fine. Just get your parries and you're not gonna struggle with her ER requirements ever. Especially in recent Abysses, where the AoE sides have actually been multi-wave, where you get a decent amount of HP particles. Like, in the current Abyss, literally you don't even need to get perfect parries. You barely even need to get non-perfect parries. Just Fischl plus HP particles with a 4-piece emblem 20%. She should... Was she... She wasn't on 4-piece emblem. It's fine! With the 2-piece emblem ER bonus, right? It's enough. Okay? You can build more if you want to be more comfortable, just in case. And to be fair, I do have C4 Sucrose with Sac Frag, which is going to pretty significantly increase your particle generation on the team. But still, right? Like, at most 140, okay? Higher than that, you're starting to kind of just waste stats, okay? Yeah, she should be on, Oh, it's because I gave her Feather to Rosaria, right? Yeah. Not 220, 120. Yeah, also, if, like me, the weapon you're using on her is a Serpent Spine rather than one of the 5 stars or one of the free-to-play options, put her on slot 1 and get used to having her on slot 1. Because you get free Serpent Spine. Even when you don't actually, like, go out of your way to wait for stacks, you'll still start with basically 2 stacks just from having her on slot 1. Sucrose! Sac Frag! 4VV. This is not necessary at all, I just did it because it's funny. Fischl, Golden Troop. And whatever damage weapon you can give her. Always start your rotation by getting your Noblesse if you can. And then just press buttons, okay? Like, when you're playing Taser, you want to pay attention to, like, 3 things, okay? Because you don't actually have to focus on actually a rotation or really anything while you're on fielding, because you don't have any combos you need to do, you just mash your buttons. But there are 3 things you want to be paying attention to outside of that. Number 1. Find Oz, visually, see him. Because it's a pain in the ass to keep track of how long he's been out. But if you just look at Oz, you can just swap the Fischl whenever Oz is gone and refresh Oz. Okay? That's number 1 thing for Taser. Number 2, When the enemy is attacking you, you can swap to Beto and do parries, and that does damage and generates energy, and it feels really nice too. And number 3, and this is probably the most important. You don't need to be doing any sort of complicated combos, but you will clear twice as fast if you just position well. Because with Sucrose and Sackfrack, especially if you have her C4, you have a lot of ways of keeping enemies grouped and staggered. But sometimes, a lot of enemies have attacks that'll make them move, like the Rift Hounds, for example. And when they do, you want to position yourself in a way where they will regroup themselves naturally, and then you can keep them staggered as once they're regrouped. Okay? And that's probably the main thing that people overlook. Alright? That's the main thing that people overlook in Taser. It's positioning. And it's a team that can't actually afford to focus on positioning because you're playing a ranged driver that doesn't lose too much damage if you have to dash and shit, because your damage on Sucrose when you're driving is gated by ICD, and even if you have to dash, a lot of the time it doesn't actually lead to worse animal application because you're still not meeting time base. You're still getting the same hits before your time base reset. Which is a complicated way to say you don't necessarily lose damage by losing attacks, as long as you're applying the same amount of animo, which tends to happen even when you dash. So focus on dashing, focus on positioning. Yeah, with Kazuha, you don't have to worry about the positioning as much. That's true. That's cool. But, yeah. Hazel works the same. With Hazel, you're not ranged. So, it's a lot harder to get good positioning, and you also don't have as good stagger as Sucrose does. Oh, and actually, speaking of that, I guess fourth thing that really just plays into the third thing. Remember, Sucrose charge attack has really high stagger value. So if you see that enemies are about to do an attack that's going to ungroup them and your E is on cooldown, you can do a charge attack to cancel them out of it. That's something that I do pretty often against Rift Hounds. If I see them like setting up for the fucking triple dash attack, and I don't have my E, I try to do a charge attack to cancel them out of it. Energy recharge, like, this is actually, like, a very, very accurate statement. And, like, it's not just accurate, it's also wise, you know? And it's not just good. Energy recharge is the best stat in the game, except when it isn't. Or, except... Yeah. Yeah. I think you've said that before, like, last year. Yeah, I've said something similar to it before, because it's true. ER is the best stat in the game because actually getting through your rotations and your abilities being ready when you need them to use them tends to be better than just building more offensive stats and fucking over your rotations, right? So you absolutely need to get the amount of ER that you need. But ER over that does literally nothing. You don't gain anything from over-generating energy. You don't gain anything from creating a particle when your burst is already full. And honestly, I could see them creating an artifact set that does something with that in the future. Where, like, when a character's burst is full, or maybe just a character, not an artifact set, like a character that has a passive like that when their burst is full, energy that they gain is either converted to damage or it's given as energy to other party members. Anything like that, right? Like, that's definitely something they could play around with. I want to play ZZ because of the music. I don't care about the...
Ambi, what's our target this time?
A special kind of bamboo.
I heard it's worth a lot.
A chance to fill our pockets.
Then what are we waiting for?
Okay? You guys ready? Let's go! I'm the diamond. I'm the ring. I'm the treasure. A little bit tricky.
I play ZZZ because of the music, they said.
I steal your heart, don't blame me. Look at me, can't you see? I'm a real man.